I was very lucky to discover this book at my local bookshop on the shelf. It's a book that I was planning to get in the near future on the internet, but I was surprised to find it on the bookshelf in my local store. It is a book by Paul Martin, who's an English expert on Japanese swords and samurai history. Anyway, so I got the book, and it's got a lot of items that belong to famous samurai that I've studied and watched movies about and read books about. And anyway, I've got a few little statues on one of my bookshelves, and this book happens to have items from all three of these little samurai that I have statues of, starting with probably the most famous samurai in history, Miyamoto Musashi. So if you don't know, Miyamoto Musashi was said to have around 60 sword fights, unbeaten. So probably the greatest swordsman who ever lived, if it's correct. So Miyamoto Musashi made these sea cucumber handguards, which are called suba. They're the most famous handguard in the world. There's a lot of copies on training swords, and I've got a couple of copies myself. Anyway, so he made those a bit later in life. He also made these Menuki, and these wooden training swords, Bukuto, were made by him. Actually, it's one that's just shows both sides of it. And I won't get into the history of Musashi, but I'm sure a lot of you know a lot about it. So moving on, the next one, Kondo Isami. He was the head of the Shinsengumi, also known as the Wolves of Mibu. So this was his sword. Toshiro Mifune plays the part of Kondo Isami in a very good Shinsengumi movie. So that's his sword there. If you don't know about the Shinsengumi, there's a lot of great history about them to read. Another one that's in there is Sakamoto Ryoma, who is very famous. His sword's in there as well. I only had one bookmark, so anyway, you get the idea. So there's a lot of great stuff in this book. It's pretty educational too if you're a beginner with this stuff. There's some beautiful photos of armor, woodblock prints, and most of all, my favorite, samurai swords, Nihonto. So anyway, if you like samurai history, especially Japanese swords, grab yourself this book. It's one of the only ones that are in English, and it's got beautiful photos. Well done, Paul Martin. Paul's a great guy and has a wealth of knowledge on the subject, and he's such a great advocate for the Japanese swords and introducing it to the Western world and keeping the tradition going. So if you can get this book, I recommend it, and If you don't know who Paul Martin is, check him out on the internet. There's plenty of stuff about him. He's got his own YouTube channel, and yeah, enjoy.